So next we have Scott Forstie with us. Scott, thank you very much that you wake up so early. So it's about short after 8 o'clock in the morning, very early in the morning. And please share your screen and tell us what the secrets are. You have the cake with you. I see. All the secrets of SQL from now, from the past, and from the future.
Well, thank you very much for including me in this esteemed panel and in your celebration. I started celebrating earlier this month, and I don't think I'm getting tired of celebrating. Why don't we celebrate all year long? This platform is such a joy to work on and be a part of, in part because of the very people you see on this call today. It's just, it's the community within the IBMI that's the truly special thing. It's the technology, of course, that binds us. I'm the leader of the database development team. They call me the business architect of the database. You can call me whatever you want, but I'm going to take you through a couple ways to consider what you own today in your IBMI and what you could be doing by the end of this call. I'm really excited to see that chat GTP demonstration and hear the other speakers. But with that, I'm going to take you through some topics. I will share this slide deck with Robert, and he can definitely share it with the attendees because there are some live links in here that I'd want you to see. So with that, let me go on to first topic, celebration. I mentioned this already. We started celebrating in earnest maybe when I was over in the Czech Republic, where Europe Congress was an outstanding event. We also had a Common Europe Advisory Council meeting at the end of that event, where IBM got to hear what the different member countries and advisors have to say to IBM and guide my strategy and those other architects within the operating system. So just an incredible event. Last week, we hosted some online events on the 21st. You might have seen those, but you probably haven't seen the following. And when you come to an event, you get to see something special. We all got tattoos. Oh yes, you see there, that's me on the far right. Tim Rowe, my business architect buddy. Allison Butterell, our senior product manager. Douglas Gibbs, who's also from the product management team, specializing in all things hardware, firmware, and virtualization. And then, of course, Chris Whitney, another architect within our IBM I development team. We took it for the team. We put these tattoos on just to raise up the level of excitement within Rochester and bring the celebration to our team. There you have it, folks. Let's get on to the database. What have we been up to lately? This platform not only has turned 35 years old, which is quite a statement for any technology, but please understand that we have plans well beyond the next 10 years out. Yes, the IBM guy said IBMI is going to be having 2 more operating system releases that we're working on. I can't formally announce what they're called, but if you look at the slide, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, it's probably not too hard to make an educated guess on what's coming next as far as the numbering scheme. What's the content within the operating system? That's a little harder to know. Can't talk about those today, but some major enhancements that we're working on. The roadmap is as solid and exciting as it's ever been. And part of that relates to database and SQL, which is why I was invited here today, but also security. Security seems to be just omnipresent with not only its requirements, but its opportunities to help us accomplish that great goal of securing that data that you have within the database in every way possible. The other thing that we're really dedicated to doing is enhancing what you own twice a year. It's called a technology refresh. We started this back in 2011. So we've been doing it for over a decade. Twice a year, we enhance what you own via PTF groups. One of the PTF groups is called a technology refresh group. The database enhancements come through the DB2 PTF group. And the enhancements are so numerous, we're just going to touch on them in concept today. But please, Another piece of advice, stay current. Stay current, my friends, and you will have a better experience with your IBM I. You'll have more features to use and you won't have to pay for them. And you'll be more secure. So many, many reasons. Stay current on your IBM I operating system release, your power, hardware generation and chip technology, and your PTF groups. I was asked to talk about DB2 and SQL, so I thought I'd start with an image, right? We actually have two query engines within DB2. Maybe not everybody is aware of this because the query engine just does your bidding. You ask it a question. A question is a query, and you get back results. And for many years, we only had the engine on the upper left, the classic query engine, CQE. But we made a decision many, many years ago to add in a new, more advanced, state-of-the-art query engine called the SQL query engine, or SQE. And it took us several releases to actually add in all of the feature capabilities that it needed to be able to handle all queries. But we're there, friends. And look at that engine. Isn't it just glorious? Well, it can do some amazing things for you. Our design epic, our approach for the SQL query engine is not only do the users want to get the correct data back, that's obvious, but they want the performance of the queries to be optimized for them. So we have an autonomous engine, a cost-based optimizers that's factoring in everything about your data center and doing its level best to give you the best performance possible. And that's a tall order, understanding that each from client to client, they might have a very different data model and data access methodology. So that's the concept. What's the details? What have you done for me lately, Scott Forstie? Well, my team is adding in SQL capabilities constantly. Some of them come on major operating system releases, and some come through those technology refreshes. It's always a sunny day in the database. It's so much fun to work on because what we found on IBM I is everybody has reasons to use SQL. Even if they're well established using record level IO, there are ways that they can use SQL to extend what they do in the database. For example, analytics. Our database is well known as this great transaction processing engine, but we also have state-of-the-art OLAP capability, analytical processing capability. You just can unleash a query that does analytic processing of your data. You don't have to move it off of IBM I to do analytics. You don't have to move the data off IBM I to do artificial intelligence. You don't have to move the data if you want to do RESTful services. And more recently, we even added in our first delivery of Watson technologies. Just really surprising stuff. So sometimes we're adding in standard support for SQL, JSON, XML, all these very, very popular technologies. Other times we're doing special projects. So it was hard to encompass everything we've done in one slide. This was my attempt to doing it. When you think about database and SQL, one of the things I want you to consider is tooling. What tools do you use to ask those questions of the database? And everybody has a reason to use different tools, and everybody has a favorite. So what this slide is hoping to convey to you is Scott's favorite tool for SQL and so much more. IBM I Access Client Solutions, or ACS, is a Java-based client that runs on your chosen workstation, and it's going to interact with the IBM I in a very productive way. Tools are supposed to, by their nature, help the user accomplish a task. And this is the best tool for rendering data and interacting with the database. This is the best tool for working with your data model or being a database engineer. Best tool for even doing just basic things like looking at a spool file and sharing it with a colleague. And like everything else I've talked about so far, it's not a purchasing decision. Just go get the latest ACS version, and you could be using the database in the most productive way. SQL, the language, how is that changing? We already have the SQL support that meets the entire SQL standard. It's very rare for a database to say those words. So we love standards, even though our history is steeped in proprietary technology. We have an incredible support for standards on IBM. And it's not just database, of course, it's other technologies as well. But one of the things I've had our team do is every technology refresh, give the users more SQL built-in functions. An SQL built-in function would be something that you would have in your select list or in your where clause. And you can embody it in a view if you don't want to code it from scratch every time. And the built-in function has the power of an entire program. And if you utilize built-in functions in your SQL queries, you'll see the ability to work with data is going to be at a much higher productivity rate, because you're asking the database engine to do the heavy lifting, do the work for you. And everything on the slide is what you own. It's there. Are you taking advantage of what's on the screen? And on the right-hand side, I put a little delimiter on which IBM operating system we initially delivered it in. As you can see, if you're at 7.4 or 7.5, you're in good shape to use everything I'll show you in today's presentation. If you're at 7.3 or earlier, please make plans to upgrade. I already said stay current, my friends. Why? Safer technology, better technology, and lower cost. We're going to see IBM i7-3 is going to go to end of support in September of this year. You don't want to pay that extra cost for higher maintenance and stay on older technology. Come up to the latest releases and have some good fun. Another technology that's considered a tool, and this is amazing technology to me, it's IBM Navigator for I. And it's a browser-based technology that it can change people's perspectives on what is the IBM I. So many times our perspectives of things are surface level. It's what we see. And if we always look at a green screen and we're doing interactive SQL or Query 400, we might think that we have very dated technology because of how we're choosing to use it. Our team has done an incredible job with Navigator for I, changing the front door to this operating system. So if you just go to Navigator for I, you're going to have one of the best experiences for managing the IBM I using a browser. It'll be interesting to hear the discussion about Nagios later in this call. That is definitely a technology that we recommend people look at for advanced systems management. So like most topics, there's room for using more than one type of tool, depending upon what you're trying to accomplish. And this one is provided by IBM. Really great stuff. And I expect this one to be enhanced at a regular pace because it's heavily built upon SQL. And we keep extending this SQL support. Navigator can keep up and enjoy those enhancements as we make them available. I mentioned SQL in different ways. One of the things our team has done that's different than other operating systems, I'm not aware of any other operating system that has this. Let the users use the language of the database, SQL, to interact with the operating system. It's a different concept. Of course, you can use SQL to see data, insert, update, delete data. That's traditional computing in the database. On our operating system, IBM I, you can also use SQL to interact with so many parts of the operating system. What we've done here is we in database land consider all information as relational data. So if we're talking about work management, for example, and the subsystems that are active or defined, we can take every attribute of those subsystems and treat them as a column in a table that's not a physical table, but rather a view over a user-defined table function that's letting you have SQL be used to advance your systems management approaches. And since we're here more or less for security, this is a game changer with security, because you actually have the opportunity to look across your entire installation and see if your security strategy and your security deployment are the same. SQL can make such a big difference. What about DataCentric Technologies? One of the timeline things that my team has done is add in more and more capability that's built into the database. So this DataCentric Technologies would be an alternative to application features. If you let the database do it, then the application doesn't have to. And as you can see here, we continue to expand the opportunity, whether it's row permissions and column masks, which is a very security-related enhancement that's been there for releases. Some people call it RCAC for protecting sensitive data, to things that are maybe closer to what a database engineer might want to do. Organize rows in a table for large databases and partition tables, or have triggers, right? A very easy concept to understand. There's so many here. Some of the newest ones that are on the slide would be the query supervisor right in the middle. Having the ability for SQE to alert your staff when a query user has consumed more than their fair share of system resources. You can have automated database engineering within your IBMI with Query Supervisor. Or on the right-hand side, the SQL error logging facility, or otherwise known as SELF, brand new technology that just came out last year for anybody who has SQL executing in their IBMI. This can tell you if any of those SQL statements are failing or not. And you can use it in a productive environment safely. So amazing technologies, I think, and you own them all. So please look at this list and decide which ones you want to use next. Part of my day is spent explaining what's possible in the database. I like to spend as much time as I can programming. So I'm always building SQL solutions for clients and partners and just sometimes even colleagues, and I post them out in GitHub. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter or LinkedIn, whenever I have a new gist that I will share with the community, I send an alert on LinkedIn or Twitter. And this is the site you can go to see an aggregation of all those free SQL. I also partner up with Tim Rowe to do IC video blogs. It's short little educational videos on how to do certain topics. So if you wondered, like, what is IBM doing to educate the community? Here's what I'm trying to do. Shine the light on some SQL topics and show people how to do it. Sometimes a video is not what you want. Sometimes you want to have a conversation. Hey, I'm trying to use this SQL, Scott advised, but I can't get it to work. Or what's the best practice for a topic? IBM hosts a discussion board for all things SQL on IBMI. And all you have to do here is authenticate to this IBM portal, and you can be part of the discussion. Create a new thread, answer somebody else's question. Let's act like a community and help each other be successful with IBM I technologies. Another one of my favorite enhancements is something called client special registers. It's been around since IBMI 6.1. And what I find is so many people say they haven't ever heard about it. It's a choose to use technology that can let you brand workloads with identities, and that branding will have incredible value when you look at advanced monitoring or management solutions, or of course security. Who did it? Client special registers, so easy to use, but with anything optional, somebody has to be the champion for change. So be that champion. Take the client special registers challenge. I mentioned technology refreshes. How can you stay current? Well, you can keep inviting me back. I really love doing this sort of thing, and maybe next time we can do it in person. Or you can go to this web page and see what are the different enhancements that technology refresh is bringing to your IBMI. Not all of them come from database. They come from other topics as well, whether it's open source or some other technology that you're highly interested in. This is the one place where you can see everything that's being enhanced and delivered to IBMI. And with just a little bit of fun, I know Robert said it was okay for me to have a little bit of fun today. So I thought I'd show you how SQL can ask the internet a question. In this case, go get a dad joke. Dad jokes are kind of fun for me. And also using SQL is the best thing. So one of the things I like to do is run. So that's one of my hobbies: running, cooking, listening to music, hanging out with friends. So there's a question. Did you hear about the runner who was criticized? Let's see what the answer is. Oh, he just took it in stride. Dad jokes are not supposed to be that funny. They make you kind of shake your head. So it's all SQL, folks, and this is what I bring to your party today. Before I finish up, though, let me talk about geospatial analytics just for a second. I mentioned Watson. Watson's inside your IBMI. Watson is inside DB2 on your IBMI. If you're at IBMI 7475, you own Watson Technologies. The first delivery is something called geospatial analytics. So there's no RESTful conversation. There's no acquiring a certificate from Watson to use this technology. It is part of DB2 for I. It comes in the form factor of scalar functions and table functions, so it's just part of what you can query. So it's time to acquire geocodes. Geocodes are a point on the Earth, right? So if you have all those, then you can ask Watson questions about how different points or regions or lines or polygons or multi-polygons, how those interrelate with each other. And there's so many business applications for this. And guess what it takes to use this? Determination, right? Now you know it's there. Go start using it. It's built into DB2. You own it. There's a brand new book. If you haven't heard about this topic, read the book and become a student of how geospatial analytics works, but use that data within DB2 for I for another dimension of processing. I'd be remiss if I didn't show one of my favorite security enhancements we've done over the years: authority collection. Authority collection by user in 7.3, authority collection by object in 7.4. You know, so many use cases for this, and it's not hard. You have to use SQL to analyze the data. So decide how you want to leverage this incredible technology to reduce the risk within your data center, or to maybe just understand who's using what. It's very easy to do. DB2 Mirror is our premier availability solution. And I have to tell you, this has been a super hot topic for me this year. I have so many customers evaluating or deploying DB2 Mirror for continuous availability. One of the things we lacked in the database for a long time was an active solution. So we have it. It's right in front of us. DB2 Mirror can allow you to deploy active processing on IBMI. Do you have to use it for active? No, there's lots of use cases, but please be aware this amazing technology is moving ahead as fast as any other topic I've talked about today. And then I'm going to wrap up here and then return control back with a couple slides. Where can you find out more and keep the conversation going? Guided tours. Once per week, we're publishing guided tours, which is a 1-hour presentation by an IBMer on a certain topic. So you don't have to wait for the yearly congresses to understand more. So my team published 6 last year. You can just follow the link and see the various topics here. And if you want to learn more about DB2 Mirror or any other database topic, go to the guided tours for 2022. What about 2023? Every week we have another topic. So there's 2 things you can do. You can register for the guided tours that are coming in the future with the first link, or you can access and utilize the guided tours that have already occurred this year and the second link. All available, all free. Come over to the guided tours and understand more about IBMI.